to Body Solutions, where total physical fitness is directed by physical therapists. Today I'm going to talk about the proper designed warm-up for any athlete, whether it be martial arts, football, soccer, basketball. So a properly designed warm-up should include 3 components. 1 is it warms up the muscles. 2, it stretches the muscles and loosens the joints. And 3, which is the one most people do not realize, is you want to warm up what's called the proprioceptors. The sensory fibers within your muscles and the fascia, the fibrous tissues that can sense changes in tension. Those key proprioceptors are what hold your body together when you're doing dynamic movements, because they send sort of information to your brain to say, okay, this muscle is under this much stretch and this muscle is there, you better coordinate the muscles to work properly. And that aspect of the warm-up is commonly missed. So today I'm going to show you an exercise that's one of the best exercises to warm up your core and your hips. And it's a very important complex because your stomach and trunk and back never contract without your hips contracting in any sport. It just doesn't happen. So it's very important to sort of load these muscles in the hips and to load those muscles while you're stretching the trunk in specific patterns, because that's what happens in sports. Okay, so here we go. First movement is a forward lunge, where you lunge, and as you load the hip complex and the thigh complex here, you're getting a stretch through the front of your trunk. Okay, so it looks like this at high speed. Almost like a sprint. Load and explode. Load and explode. Great for warming up the proprioceptors in this area and the myofascial tissues to get them to synchronize correctly with your hip complex. Okay, so another movement you can do is a forward lunge and a side turn. Same thing, loading the hip, getting the core to twist like this. Okay. In that one, you're going to feel more of a load right in the hip here. Again, it changes the dynamic of the warm-up. And then the last movement is a load and chop down. And this movement, you're going to feel the most loading in the hip when you get a trunk flexion and rotation movement. All 3 of these movements are very common no matter what sport and what activity you're doing. Okay, hip engaging, trunk doing, different planes of motion. Okay, and of course you would do the other side as well. And the forward position is the easiest position. As you get more advanced and you make sure you don't have any kind of knee problems and you know how to sort of pivot your knees properly. Okay, if you have those skills intact, then you want to lunge to the side and do just 3 same planes of motion. Okay, so a side lunge like this. Okay, and a side lunge rotation. And a side lunge chop down. Okay, so it's very important to do those exercises properly. The side rotations really help open up the hip that you're standing on. Okay, and it really increases the load to this hip. And every one of those movements you can do on both sides, of course. And I typically recommend 10 repetitions each, right? So it's 10 this way, 10 this way, 10 going down, lunging forward for both legs, and then to the side, up, side, and down. Okay, so once you do that complex, you're going to be pretty warmed up. The muscles are going to be stretched, and the core, in terms of feedback, synchronizing the muscles with the core with the trunk, should be well intact and ready to do whatever sport that you're doing.